Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. It is another Premier League preview show we've got in store for you today. There are some massive games in this round of fixtures. Game week 6 is upon us and it has thrown us, just to name a couple of the games, a London derby and a fixture between two of possibly the top contenders for this season's Premier League title. But before we get into these games and predicting them, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get into predicting, analysing, whatever you want to call it, the upcoming round of Premier League fixtures for game week 6 of the new season. We're kicking things off by going to Old Trafford as Manchester United host Aston Villa in one of the two lunchtime kickoffs on Saturday. Yep, there are two lunchtime kickoffs, a rarity indeed. But back to the game, United left it late to beat West Ham last weekend, whilst Villa were comfortable 3-0 winners against Everton last time out. It's an interesting and tricky fixture ahead for both clubs I'm predicting. I think that with United, they of course have this developing partnership between Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, and of course therefore are capable of getting the victory here. But don't count out Villa. Villa have a hard-working side with players of quality and flair and can definitely hurt United in key areas. As far as a prediction goes, it could go any which way, but I think that Villa will provide a tough enough test to take at least a point here. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw come the final whistle. Next up, the Toffees meet the Canaries at Goodison Park as Everton take on bottom of the table Norwich. Rafa Benitez's side experienced their first league loss under their new manager last time out against Aston Villa, whilst Norwich are still without a win or even a point so far this season since their return to England's top flight division following a 2-1 loss to Watford last time out. It's really hard to see where Norwich are going to be picking up points from this season. The Watford game last week was their best opportunity so far this campaign to do so, but they failed. And it's becoming even more desperate with each passing game becoming more and more important for them to get points on the board. Everton can't take this game for granted though. Having said that, it still might be a bit of a banana skin fixture for them. But in saying that, I'm still backing Everton to win here. I'm going to say 2-0 to the Toffees. Next, we see Leeds, who are still yet to win this season following their draw with Newcastle last time out, clash with West Ham on Saturday, as the Hammers come into this game off the back of a defeat to Manchester United, in which Jesse Lingard returned to haunt the club that he spent the second half of last season on loan at. Interesting game to call this one. Leeds are desperate to pick up their first win of the season, of course. But the Hammers will be looking to get back to winning ways as well very soon. Either side could definitely go on to get the 3 points here, but I'm going to have to predict a draw for this game. I'm going to say 2-2 come the final whistle. The Foxes host the Clarets as Leicester take on Burnley at the King Power Stadium. Leicester come into this game off the back of back-to-back losses in the league, as last week they lost 2-1 to Brighton, whilst Burnley are still looking for their first win of the season after a 1-0 loss to Arsenal. Leicester have been a little bit underwhelming at the start of this campaign, but with that being said, this could be another fixture in which they slip up in, because of course Burnley on their day can give anybody a run for their money, and of course Leicester I'm sure will be no exception, and I'm sure it's going to be a tough task ahead for the Foxes. I could certainly see Leicester winning this game, having said that though, but despite having said that, I've got a funny feeling that this game will end in a draw. The shares will be spoiled, so on and so forth, and that's why I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw. Vicarage Road plays host to our next game of focus as Watford take on Newcastle. Watford picked up their second win of the season last time out when they beat rock bottom Norwich, whilst Newcastle took a point against Leeds on last Friday night. Big game for both sides. Watford will be looking to beat another possible relegation rival, whilst Newcastle are looking for their first victory of the season, of course. This result could honestly go any which way, but if Alan Saint-Maximin continues the form that he showed and displayed last week in their game against Leeds, I think the Magpies may be able to pick up a good result here. I'm not entirely confident when I say this. This one may be a bit of the more thrown out there predictions of this weekend. But I'm actually backing Newcastle to win this game, and I'm going to say 2-1 to the Magpies. Next up, Brentford welcome Liverpool to the Brentford Community Stadium in Saturday's evening kickoff. The Bees come into this game on high off the back of last week's victory against Wolves, whilst Liverpool are joint top of the table alongside Chelsea, having been unbeaten so far this season, with their latest victory coming against Crystal Palace last week, in which the Reds were victorious 3-0. Big game for Brentford, welcoming one of the biggest Premier League teams around. They're not expected to win this game, so they may be able to see this one as a bit more of a free swing. They have really nothing to lose in this game, and that could be their advantage. If Liverpool aren't careful, it's possible the Reds might slip up here, and it might be a bit of an upset on the cards. However, in saying that, I always, of course, back my team. I don't think Liverpool will have too much of a problem in this game. It may not be the most convincing of performances and victories, but I still back Liverpool to win. I'm going to say that Liverpool will win in a professional manner. I'm going to say 2-0 to the Reds. The Saints take on Wolves at St Mary's in Sunday's afternoon fixture, the first afternoon fixture of Sunday. The Saints are still without a win so far this season, but have proven to be difficult to beat following 4 draws from their opening 5 games, with their latest being a goalless draw against Manchester City, whilst Wolves were beaten last time out by Brentford last week. Interesting fixture ahead between two teams who may have deserved more than what they've already managed to acquire so far this season, but both teams have a tendency to lose all concentration and perform inconsistently, so this one really could go either way. I'm not entirely confident when I say this, but my prediction for this game is that it will be a 1-1 draw and the points will be shared. We're jumping ahead to Monday night's fixture, and we're at Selhurst Park for what will be Crystal Palace taking on Brighton. Palace endured a 3-0 defeat to Liverpool last time out, whilst Brighton have certainly hit the ground running to kick things off this season for them, with 4 wins out of 5 from their opening 5 games. Their latest result being a 2-1 victory against Leicester last weekend. Big game here for Palace. The Liverpool game last week was obviously a bit more of a free swing. No one really expected them to do anything in that game, so it proved to be with a 3-0 beating. But whilst this will still be a difficult game against Brighton, obviously their chances do increase of at least getting a result in this one. Having said that, Brighton of course come into this game from a solid start to the season, and I did say, and I have said before, that if they could sort out their fortune in front of goal, this Brighton side will be a very good footballing side and a very good side not to be slept on, and that's so far how it's proven to be this season. In my opinion, I'm going to go and give the edge to Brighton in this game, and I'm going to say 2-1 to the Seagulls. In our penultimate game on the list, otherwise this would be the main event of this entire weekend, but I feel like there may be a bit more of a bigger fixture that's on the cards this weekend to take the main event spot, so to speak. But this is not a bad game as well. It is, of course, a interesting game. It always has proven to be. It is a feisty and fierce derby, specifically a North London derby. Arsenal versus Tottenham, playing on Sunday afternoon at the Emirates Stadium. Tottenham come into this game off the back of back-to-back defeats, as they lost another London derby last time out to Chelsea, where the Blues were victorious 3-0, whilst Arsenal come into this game off the back of back-to-back wins, as they beat Burnley 1-0 last weekend. Regardless of what I've just said and the form that these two teams come into this game with, of course, the cliche I have to throw out there is form goes completely out the window in this kind of game. It's a derby after all. It's just about who wants it more, who wants the bragging rights to take home with them along with the 3 points. Will this be the game that properly ignites the season for Harry Kane? He's failed to turn up so far this campaign for Spurs, but we know that he loves scoring against Arsenal. Whilst for the Gunners, will they make it 3 wins on the bounce? Any result wouldn't surprise me here. I can make an argument for either side, but I'm going to call it down the middle again. I'm going to say it's going to end up in a draw. The points are going to be shared, and it's going to end 2-2 come the final whistle. And finally, what is in my opinion arguably the biggest game of this round of fixtures between two of the top contenders for this season's Premier League title. It is arguably the biggest game of this weekend. We're at Stamford Bridge as Chelsea take on Manchester City. Chelsea are still unbeaten this season. They are sitting joint top with Liverpool right now, following a 3-0 victory over Tottenham last time out, while City were held to a goalless stalemate with Southampton last weekend. This is a fixture that in recent history has of course favoured Chelsea more. Thomas Tuchel, since taking over, seems to have had Pep Guardiola's number. It happened in the league, the FA Cup and the Champions League towards the back end of last season, since Tuchel of course took charge of the Blues, as Chelsea beat City on all 3 of them occasions. Will it be 4 times the charm for Guardiola? Personally, I doubt it. Chelsea have looked strong so far this season. Defensively, they look resilient and stubborn and strong and disciplined. And up front, you know, they've got plenty of creative options, plenty of players who can chip in with goals. And that is why I think that whilst this will be an exciting game ahead between two of the supposed top contenders for the Premier League title this season, I think that the Blues will win big here and lay down a statement to the rest of their rivals, Premier League, so on and so forth, as they take the 3 points. I'm going to call it and say that this will end 2-0 to the Blues. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, mainly predictions of course, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of any of the games to be played in game week 6 of the new Premier League season? What are your own predictions? And also, I keep meaning to put this in as well, and I keep meaning to throw this in. What are your predictions fantasy football wise? Who are you looking that may have a good week this weekend? Who are you looking to add to your squad, put into your squad, so on and so forth? I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, and mainly predictions, of course, down below in the comments section, because I'm sure they'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And of course, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, this has been another Premier League preview show, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video.